If as a woman, the worst sin that you can commit is being unlikable, I would argue that as a celebrity, the worst sin that you can commit is refusing to accept the fact that you're unlikable, not being able to make peace with the fact that you are not likable. I think the downfall of many celebrities and why we see them crash out and kind of make sloppy mistakes in terms of PR, it is that they cannot accept any kind of criticism, right? Like the minute the conversation turns even a little bit negative about them, they kind of start panicking because that's not okay. Everyone has to like them. Everyone has to love them. I'm seeing a few examples of that this week. Like, for example, Kevin Hart doing that Breakfast Club interview, right? It's like, you didn't have to go on a PR interview about it. Everyone made up their mind about you. They made a choice about who you are as a person and decided they were going to stand on it. And you could have just left it alone and let it die. But instead, you went to the Breakfast Club to essentially make excuses for your behavior, to be like, I don't understand why everyone's upset with me. It wasn't that big of a deal. It's a roast. It's what people do at a roast. So it's like, again, if it's a roast and it's what people do at the roast and you didn't see any problem with it, why the fuck are you doing press trying to justify it? Because you cannot accept the way that people view you, that people view you as a coon, and you cannot make peace with that. No, you're not. People are not allowed to talk about me that way. People are not allowed to think of me that way. You want to control narrative and how you're viewed by people. You cannot be both a sellout and then still want to be someone who people like and people root for. That's not how it works. You chose the money, right? Well, you got the money. In exchange for the money, the general public kind of hates you. That was the price that you paid. Jackie Aina, right? I think. If not, I'm sorry. But her, Jackie, the makeup lady that we're talking about. She, to me, is the most glaring example of this. Went into this line of work being an influencer, right? Because that's what she is, a professional influencer. She might influencer at the highest level, but she is still just an influencer. And so much about that is about being likable to the public, right? It's about selling yourself to the public. And I have watched her for years understand that that is her job, but then in the same breath still kind of be like, no, right? Like, your job is to sell yourself to the public, right? And then be upset when people are curious about you or curious about your certain aspects of your life, right? Like, if your entire brand has been your name and overnight you change your name, you feel like it's so disrespectful for people to notice that you changed your name and then kind of question, even though that was part of your brand, but you felt like people were being disrespectful and people weren't respecting your boundaries. Because how dare people ask you if you got married? People were calling you auntie and that pissed you off because you felt like it was disrespectful and it was a little, people were acting a little bit too familiar and they don't know you in real life and they shouldn't feel this comfortable. Okay, that's fine. That's your boundary as well. But it's like you continue to create this distance between you and the regular person, right? Because you want to have the exclusivity of a celebrity, right? Of the celebrity who gets to like hide aspects of your life, who gets to set these strict boundaries. People shouldn't feel comfortable talking to me or about me because I'm not one of you guys. You are not my peers. But then in the same breath turned around and were beefing with regular people, right? Because those influencers she was beefing with for the most part are kind of just regular people, and you were going to war with them, making it seem like their comments and their actions bothered you so much, and how dare they speak so negatively about you like they're your fucking neighbors. You can't be both above everyone and better than everyone, but still in the same breath be given the same respect as a peer. Like, you cannot have both. It doesn't work. And in the situation now, I'm like watching her and watching the critique that people are giving her. And instead of handling the critique, instead she's going back and forth for her comment section, being a smartass and going back and forth and arguing with people. And then my question is like, are you a celebrity or not? Because a real celebrity wouldn't be on the internet arguing with people. So which one is it? Are you our peer or not? This entire situation could be resolved. If she did this shady shit that she did with the Patriot guy simply because she doesn't like Painted by Esther, that's fine. She doesn't like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to like Painted by Esther. You and her don't have to be besties. You're allowed to dislike her. And if you did the shady shit because you simply dislike her, that's perfectly fine. But then why didn't you just stand on it? Because you cannot deal with the idea of being disliked. You cannot make peace with the idea that some people just don't like you, and that's okay. Like, people are allowed to see your personality and be like, nope, not for me. No, you can't allow that. You can't make peace with that. Instead, it has to turn into the fact that people don't like you because they're hateful, because they're nasty, because they enjoy participating in certain isms. But you can participate in kind of nasty behavior, and it's okay because it's your platform and you can do whatever you want and no one's going to check you. Like, you can behave kind of nasty towards people and it's perfectly fine. It's okay because it's your platform and you're allowed to curate your experience on the internet, and you can block whoever you want. Who gives a fuck? But if anyone behaves that way towards you, it's because they're bigots. Oh. Like, this isn't just special to Jackie and to Kevin Hart, though. We see it all the time. I talk about it all the time with, like, the way that people's PR people move, right? With, like, Olivia Rodrigo just recently did it with the whole backlash about the baby doll, right? Sabrina Carpenter's people did it with the whole man's best friend. It's like, you can't make your platform about being edgy and controversial and I don't give a fuck. But then when the backlash comes in, when people are like, actually, we don't like that, now all of a sudden there's a million and one excuses and people are not allowed to say that to you. Everyone wants to be edgy and controversial until the critique comes in. Then you're not allowed to critique us. You're actually not not allowed to say negative things about us. No, that's not okay. If the point in comedy, according to you, is to try and provoke a reaction out of people, how come when you get that reaction out of people, all of a sudden it's whoa, 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 you're not allowed to react to the provocation though? That's not okay. If your point in picking a controversial album cover is to start a conversation, and that when that conversation comes in, it happens to be negative towards you, it's like, no, you guys are not allowed to say that. No, it was supposed to start a conversation, but not like that. I can't handle it. If the point in wearing the baby doll dresses was to be edgy, right, was to be satirical, satire is supposed to start a conversation. And then when the conversation started, all of a sudden it was backtracking. It's just a dress. It means nothing. It's just a dress. If the point in choosing to side with the Patrick guy was because you didn't like Painted by Esther, you were essentially trying to shade her, right? And you did it to be funny. And then when people react to that, being like, hey, you're being shady, you're not allowed to now hide your hand and be like, I don't owe you guys an explanation. No. As someone, I'm speaking from my personal experience, as someone who is a bitch and is very unlikable, people hate me. Guess what? I freed myself the day I made peace with the fact that I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Some people are going to hate me. And it's like, all right, well, okay, well, the world keeps spinning. But there is nothing more pathetic than begging people to like you.